Hello, it's Monday and I don't have any pants on, but that's for a different channel. Today, I felt like it was a good time because my semester is over and I am kind of well rested. Oh shit, hold on. Everyone on my team has already seen me in my underwear, it doesn't matter. Today's video is sponsored by Rad Balls energy drink. Rad Balls. Ride the balls. My director said we can't have logos, except for the ones from Wicked Clothes. I'm tired. So I need my Rad Balls. Today is a very special episode because, I'll tell you why. Because my eyebrows are done, because my hair is curled, because my pores are sucked, and because my lips aren't chapped. I feel cute today. So this is what we're doing. We are going to do some makeup from The Love Witch. So today we're actually going to be talking about one of my favorite book series. I'm sure a lot of you mid-millennials had these in your collection. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. All three of them, of course. I was born in '89 and these were a staple. I had my own copies. I love them so much. And the thing that makes them the best is the illustrations. Stephen Gamble, he did all of these creepy illustrations. Nothing comes close really to these illustrations. I heard that they redid the books and that the illustrations were not as cool, and that's super lame. I also want to comment, and I'm not trying to make this a negative thing, and we get enough of that on the internet. But when I found out that there was going to be a movie based on these books, I was really excited, and then I was really disappointed. It didn't translate. It didn't give me that primal fear that I used to feel as a 7-year-old with these books in my bed. Because what I would do is I would get these books and I would read them all day. And then I'd fall asleep with them, but then I'd be scared to have them in my room, so I would avoid the books. I would like tiptoe around them because I was afraid they were gonna come alive, but then I liked that at the same time, you know? I also had a favorite book and it was called Buried in Ice. I used to check it out of my library every week, so I would just keep renewing it. I should have just bought it. It was probably a $12 book, but it was about these ice mummies from Norway, I believe. 1800s, so they weren't super old mummies, but they were really creepy because they were ice mummies. So instead of like your normal Egyptian sarcophagus that everybody thinks of and associates with mummies, these guys were like blackened, but they were still wearing their like 1700s ruffle shirts. And it was just, oh, I just loved to look at it. But at nighttime, I'd be like, oh my God, the ice mummy, he's gonna get me, because it's nighttime. I love my logic. I still think things like that though, because I'm OCD. So I'm still like, you know what? If you don't step over that staircase by twos, then you're gonna get hit by an asteroid. Oh my God, I'm so mad. I should have planned better, but I didn't. Okay, so I think that this one was my favorite. This one has all of my favorites in it, but I'll go back and forth. But I want to start with a lovely story about a woman. And isn't she gorgeous? I love her. Oh, she's my favorite. I used to be really scared that she lived in my closet, but then at the same time, I'd be like, I hope she does. Anxiety is such a strange thing. The story is called Clinkety Clink. And of course, all of these stories come from folk tales and such, collected by the incomparable Alvin Schwartz, who I need to look up. I don't know if that person is still alive, but I would like to meet them if they are. Or meet them in the afterlife, because that's what we kind of do on this channel, so there you go. In this story, a woman is lonely and she dies lonely. She doesn't really have any family or friends, and she is laid to rest with her material treasures placed beside her. One of her main treasures that's placed near her body are two beautiful, expensive coins. And I don't know where the origins of putting coins or rocks on somebody's eyeballs started. I would assume they started a very long time ago because I see it a lot. I almost think it kind of makes it weirder. But then you compare it to postmortem photography where people are just straight up dead, just looking at you like, and you're like, could you close their eyes, please? Grave robbers are just, they're just getting it. I didn't make it as a doctor or a lawyer, so I'm gonna rob a grave. This woman gets grave robbed, which wasn't very nice. Apparently the dead dislike that the most. Like, you can walk over the grave, whatever, but don't dig it up. Don't do it. Like, have y'all seen the most well-preserved mummy? She's from China. Her name is Lady Di. Not like Princess Diana. Very different aesthetics. They dug her up in China from this extremely well-engineered sarcophagus tomb situation. And she still has supple skin and, you know, she feels like a human. She doesn't feel like a mummified or like a bog person. She feels like a living human. But then her eyeballs are all sunken in, so she still looks pretty crazy. But I think it's pretty cool that she was in that good of condition. But at the same time, the dead really don't want to be dug up. I mean, I would guess some who like attention like me, like I would love to be dug up in a couple hundred years and be like, who's this fascinating, beautiful woman? And then I could be in a museum. But a lot of people don't want that. But this lady was actually pretty bougie. I mean, she was up there. Maybe she wanted the attention. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about curses related to Lady Di. So who knows? In Clinkety Clink, she finds the grave robbers and they start to hear sounds going through the house. It's that typical story of you hear it a little bit and then you hear it more and then it's close to you and then blah! I'm not gonna try to like jump scare you because I can't really do that on this platform. So I'm going to use my Morphe eyeshadow primer. I don't do a ton of makeup, and when I do, I don't really do eyeshadow, but since this is kind of an eyeshadow-centric character that we're basing our makeup off today, I want to make sure that the blue pastel eyeshadow that I would never wear in other circumstances is really poppin'. Who's got my coins? And the story is called Clinkety Clink because the clinking of the coins. She could hear them in the box that the grave robbers took from her. So the sound of the clinking summoned her to retrieve her riches that were stolen from her. And honestly, it's like the exact same story as who has my toe or who has my whatever. But for some reason, Clinkety Clink was just my favorite because of the drawing, because the lady was so scary. Here's another tale. It makes me really sad and kind of scared. This is another one of the best illustrations in all of the series. This story is called The Drum. So two little girls are playing and they meet this other little girl and she is from another place. She is different and they are excited because she has this really cool drum. So she's beating on the drum and they're jealous. They're like, we want that drum. And she's like, nah, but wait. I'll give you the drum if you act really bad to your mom and baby brother. And they say, that sounds a little sketch. We're not gonna do that. And she's like, fine, then you won't get the drum. And they're like, wait, no, we really want it. Okay, we can be bad. So they go home and they like, I don't know, barf up their dinner and don't do their chores. They call their little brother names or something. So their mom's like, girls, what the hell? They continue to act bad. So they're really proud of themselves. They go to the woods the next day and they find the little girl with the drum and they say, oh my God, we were so bad yesterday. We were so bad. We like stayed up past our bedtime. And the girl was like, no, that's not good enough. You're not bad enough. And they're like, damn it. Okay. The little girl with the drum says, you need to be really bad. And they're like, okay, well, I guess, okay. Well, they go home and they're even worse. I don't remember the details. I'm just making this up. I'm thinking of what bad kids would do. And they're slapping their little brother and they're cussing at their mom and they're just being awful. And their mom is like, you are not bad little girls. What has gotten into you? And they're like, shut up, Mom. Next day, they find the little girl with the drum. And they're like, we did such bad stuff. We did this and we did that. And she's like, you have to be really bad. So they're like, damn, what do I have to do? Kill my mom or something? So they're brainstorming. They're like, we really want to get this drum. And I'm just thinking, you know what? Like, I wouldn't do all that for a drum. But like, I guess you could just replace it with the thing you most desire and be like, what would I do for that? What would I do for true love or for a new brain or a new digestive system? They finally go home the last night and they are just like the worst. They are doing everything short of physically assaulting their mother and baby brother. They are being very bad, very, very bad. The mother says, if you girls are gonna keep being this bad, I'm gonna leave with your little brother and you're gonna have a mommy with a glass eye and a wooden tail. And they say, no, that would never happen. They didn't believe her. So they kept being bad. And when they had gotten to the point where they were just as bad as they could possibly be without murdering somebody, they went to the woods, found the little girl, and told them all the bad things they had done. But like Shania Twain, she was not impressed. I wasn't planning on giving you my drum. We were just playing a game. I thought you knew that. And the little girl started to cry, and they thought, what was this all for if it wasn't for the cool drum? We were so mean to our mommy and our baby brother. So they go home and they're really sad. And then they look in the window and they don't see their mom or their brother. They look everywhere. So they're not only upset about not getting the drum and being lied to, but now they can't find their mom and they're starting to freak out. And then they look in their window and there in the kitchen by the fire is an old woman with a glass eye and a wooden tail. See, what I wonder about this is like, did their mom like know a lady? Like, hey, I know this local freak. If my kids are bad, she can just like slide on in, be their mom. Like, hey, Cheryl, my kids are bad. I'm leaving them. You step in? Yeah, cool. Rad balls. That's a very scary story for a child because, you know, people die and they get coins in their eyes and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, if your mom like leaves you because you're bad, that's an actual fear. Oh, here's another one that I really like. The Bride. So a woman is getting married and she's having a blast. She is enjoying her wedding reception and they decide to play hide and seek, which is weird, but whatever. So she decides to go up to the attic and hide in a old cedar chest. But unfortunately, when she gets inside the chest, she loses control and then it knocks her out on the head and she passes out. So everybody's frantically trying to find her. It's like, where's the bride? And they can't find her anywhere. So they kind of give up after a little while, which is really bizarre to me. So then old grandpa is cleaning out the attic. He opens the cedar chest and oh God, it's a dead lady in a wedding dress. Oh God. So moral of the story is don't play hide and seek because it's stupid and it's not fun. Here's another one of my favorites. It's called One Sunday Morning. And I believe it's from that same volume that I've chosen all my stories from. It's just my favorite one. So this girl, she gets up early for church as she does every Sunday. And she notices that it's a little darker than usual. It's not daylight savings time or anything, but she just kind of looks around and says, that's weird. It's still dark out. Oh well, I'm gonna go to church. Because she goes by the bell. The bells are ringing. And so she thinks, hey, it's time to get up. It's time to go to church. So she goes to church and she notices that everyone is acting weird, walking weird, and looking pretty weird. So she's sitting there going, what is going on? This is strange. Then she sees a lady that just died a month ago. And she goes, oh God, I'm in the wrong place. The corpse next to her says, this is the service for the dead. Get out while you can. So she does. She hightails it and she gets out of there. So this is one of the rare instances of somebody like actually getting out of a bad situation. Okay, here's another story in a different volume called Room for One More. And I cannot listen to anybody say that phrase without thinking about this story. And I always mention it to them too and make them feel very uncomfortable. So in Room for One More, a woman is trying to get on an elevator and it's a little crowded, but the elevator operator, back when they used to do that, he very creepily looks at her and says, room for one more. And she says, nah, I'll pass. And then the elevator crashes to the ground and everybody dies. So she's like, that's a good choice. This lady right here, this is scary because it's what it feels like to have large pores. I can't cry. This lady right here, don't you just want her to wake you up and be like, good morning, sunshine, and good morning? So in The Love Witch, there's a bunch of shots that are super close up of Samantha Robinson as Elaine, the Love Witch. And it focuses on her eyes, and I guess to portray that, you know, a lot of her power comes from her eyes and her sensuality. We're not going to do that today because we don't want to look at anything close up. This is as close as it gets. I mean, because I'm not a professional and because it's a Monday at 6 p.m., I think this is about as good as it's going to get. No, it's the opposite. You gathered your hair like that, except mine's greasy and disgusting, but whatever. No, I'm looking more like a grunger. Is that beehive enough for you? Ugh, greasy. Harold was always a popular one. Never really got it because scarecrows are supposed to be scary, so. I always like the funny ones because, you know, like Sweet Scary is kind of my aesthetic. I always like that one because it was just so stupid. We're playing tomorrow. I'm fighting with the man in the middle. I'm asking him to change his ways. Oh yes, one of the Woman in White stories. Well, I know Women in White stories are mostly grieving mothers who lost their children and stalk the highways in search, but this is technically a woman in white because it's a girl going to the prom in a white dress, but she was dead the whole time. And I thought I had a bad prom. Okay, there's definitely two different versions of Room for One More, so I'm not completely stupid. Don't you ever laugh as a hearse goes by, for you may be the next to die. They wrap you up in a big white sheet from your head down to your feet. They put you in a big black box and cover you up with dirt and rocks. All goes well for about a week. Then your coffin begins to leak. The worms crawl in, the worms crawl out. The worms play pinochle on your snout. They eat your eyes, they eat your nose. They eat the jelly between your toes. A big green worm with rolling eyes crawls in your stomach and out your eyes. Your stomach turns a slimy green, and pus pours out like whipping cream. You spread it on a slice of bread, and that's what you eat when you are dead. And it's dinner time, isn't it? Speaking of dinner time, I'll close with this. Probably the most beautiful woman in all of these books. Don't we look just alike? Sometimes I feel like this. Okay. Well, thank you for joining me today on this kooky little adventure. Let me know in the comments if you have these books. Was there a fourth one? I thought there were only 3. I only have 3, and I only had 3 when I was little. Let me know in the comments what your favorite story was, if you have a different version of something, if you liked the movie or didn't like the movie. Be sure to check out our channel. We have our Leo Frank and Mary Fagin episodes coming out soon. We also have our Beach Spirits of St. Simon's coming out, which will be a multi-part episode because there was so much to cover. And of course, our Dear Heather is on YouTube every Monday with a new Ask a Medium, part of the series. Our handle on all social media is @CountryFriedCryptid, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.